King it flake, yeah. And Vibe Nation, say, oh yeah. Alright. I go to work. Yeah, let's go. Alright.
Open up your mind, dig deeper inside, then see what you find. It's a vibe, get myself aligned, won't waste any time, this can't be defined. It's a vibe, Vibe Nation. We LIP, it's Vibe Nation, yeah. We LIP, Vibe Nation. We LIP, Vibe Nation, yeah. We LIP.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Make you a check, hope you prepare for whatever is next. I gotta honor the code no matter what, so you know that I ain't breaking it yet. And I ain't breaking a sweat. I am so comfortable up in my element. I remember everything like an elephant. Can't involve myself if it ain't intelligent. I feel it shining on me. Yeah, that's the sun that's giving me power. When you enlighten, you can't be a coward. Giving out knowledge like water in showers. We let it rain, we trying to gain more of the light instead of the darkness. Put my ego in a hidden compartment. In my own section like an apartment. I gotta start this, taking my shot like a marksman. I'm painting the scene like an artist. They're looking at who with the farthest. I back it up, that's why I talk it. The vibes are with me, that's often. I rarely do this for profit. And I'm only talking to bosses. Y'all, open up your mind, dig deeper inside, then see what you find. It's a vibe, get myself aligned, won't waste any time, this can't be defined. It's a vibe, Vibe Nation. We LIP, it's Vibe Nation, yeah. We LIP, Vibe Nation. We LIP, Vibe Nation, yeah. We LIP, okay. Pushing the positive, negativity, I see the opposite. I was thinking the movement was obvious, but I see that y'all really acknowledge it. I'ma put the agenda until it's ready. I carry the weight even though it's heavy. I carry the torch only if you let me. I'm deep in your mind, I'm a mental edgy. Yeah, it's LIP, living in peace. Asking me where do I find my release? Wondering where do I put my beliefs? Lately I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Suave, ATL, D'Angelo, Jag, in the building, Kick Wheel, be walking with this play. That,
dig deeper inside, then see what you find. It's a vibe, get myself aligned, won't waste any time.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
we live from the center of the earth. Everybody on Facebook, like, share, comment, tap into the daily content. Appreciate y'all being here. Everybody on YouTube, 80 Young Podcast, go up every morning. Like, comment, follow the channel. Any questions you may have, drop them inside the chat. I will always respond. If you're watching on the purple, if you're on Twitch, Amazon Prime free once a month. Jeff Bezos got his money. Use it on your boy. If not, find another content creator on that platform that you enjoy and use those free subs on Amazon Prime. Picture in picture, as well as Kick, no ads, 50 emotes free. All you have to do is be a follower to the channel. You can use all the stickers and emotes. Picture in picture, late night streams. Tap in on the Piznai Purple, the red, the green, and the blue. We everywhere. We're gonna be adding Twitter and TikTok soon. Now I say, come on, Steelers. I just want to see a good game, man. I ain't got no dog in the fight.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Big Jeff, what it do? Kentrell, Tristan Foster.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
It is Monday Night Football. We got a 7-6 football game. CJ Stroud is doing his best early season Cam Ward impression and just dropping the ball. 10 stream streak. I love to see it, B. Walker. Appreciate y'all being tapped in. If y'all did not catch
Let me teach you how to vibe.
This morning, make sure y'all tapping into their YouTube. It does so much for the YouTube and the growth Like I said, we are really, really close to being partnered on YouTube. We just need a little bit more watch hours, which means when y'all get those notifications on the YouTube, when those videos drop at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time every morning, which is basically broke down, more digestible version
Let
of
me
Shop
teach you how
Talk
to vibe.
that we drop. And if y'all have mailbag questions, when y'all drop them, I always try to go back
Let me
and
teach
make
you
a
how to
mailbag video for the questions y'all have that I don't cover live on stream. So if you're not in the live stream, it is okay. All you got to do is catch the YouTubes in the morning, and if it's something I didn't go over, I guarantee when I see it, I will address it. I am not a duck. I am not an Oregon Duck. I have not been 120 years playing college football without a championship. Mr. Bad Take in the building. Aaron C said who I got tonight. I want them both to lose, honestly. Corey. He said black and yellow. Where's Wiz Khalifa at? Evan P. Tyler Sage. Corey D. Appreciate everybody being tapped in though. All right, let's get into today's conversation. Today's conversation is none other than my dream scenario for the NFL draft and free agency. Now, y'all seen me go over this a billion times, and I refine it every time. And every year, I nail a few people in the draft order that were in the lower rounds that I just had my eyes on. I said, it's a good chance the Tennessee Titans will be in position to pick this specific player. That was the offense. Here's the defense. And here's my actual draft board. Ruben Bain, Chris Brazil II. And I'm gonna give y'all a breakdown of why I like these specific players. Ruben Bain, I think he's got the ability to play inside out, which means that, you know, if you want to send some stunts and you want to line him up inside, you can on third downs. If you want to line him up outside, I think him mixed with Femi Oladejo, Jeffrey Simmons, T Sweat, and Ruben Bain, I think would be a formidable front for the future. Chris Brazil II, I think he has that Nico Collins, George Pickens, wiry frame,
teach you how to vibe.
big body receiver that's also a good route runner for somebody that's his size. He's got that twitch. Zachariah Branch, something that's missing in Nashville, a wide receiver that's just got that twitch that can make people miss in space. A lot of people wanted Luther Burden last year with the second round pick that we traded back to get Femi and Kevin Winston Jr. for. So that would fill that need with Zachariah Branch, Keontae Scott. I like that cornerback out of Miami. I just like his physicality. He can press, he can zone, he can play off, he comes up and hit. If you seen Kamari Lassiter today, that's who he reminds me of. Carter Smith, left tackle from Indiana. Guys played a lot of snaps, and the guy haven't hardly given up any sacks in all those snaps that he's taken, being the blind side for Mendoza.
Let me teach you how to
right
vibe.
outside the top 100, would be a tackle for the future behind Dan Moore. Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker out of Texas Tech, would be playing behind Cody Barton. So you'd have Cody Barton and Cedric Gray with James Williams and Jacob Rodriguez in the middle. Marlon Klein, 6'6", 250-pound tight end out of Michigander. You see the impact that Brock Bowers, you see the impact of Gunnar Helm, you see the impact of Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren, big physical tight ends that can block in line, turn around and catch and then get upfield are very important in today's game. Dalen Everett, cornerback out of Georgia. I really like his ceiling. I think he's a ball hawk. I was always going to opt to have two receivers and two corners.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
In my draft. Xavier Nwankpa. I probably said that wrong. I'm sorry. I butchered your name, but guess what? Very fast ball hawking safety. I like his tape. It's a couple safeties I like. Bray Hubbard is going back into the portal. Raleek Brown, running back out of USC, going back into the portal. So a couple of guys, Horton going back into the couple of guys that I like down here with my last pick are hitting the portal and going back to college. So you have to start looking and start looking deeper down that depth chart. And Jamari Taylor, running back out of Virginia, very productive running back. Always, you know, the Kyle Monungas, Isaiah Pacheco's, the Brashard Smith, the McCroskey Merritt, late round running backs have been producing in the NFL. So I think that would be a very good look with Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears, both going on their last years. Some guys that are on these 100 and down, Austin, left tackle out of Florida. You know, if Carter is not there, if you miss on your receivers, I like late rounds Barry and Brown out of LSU, and I like Malachi Fields out of Notre Dame. You know, I'm always thinking one dunker, one twitchy guy. There will be more tight ends. If Marlon Klein is off the board, there will be more linebackers if Rodriguez is off the board. There's a few other corners that I've had in my mocks, but this has been a mock that I have really liked in my free agency. I have looked at right. Chicago has a lot of corners, and some of them are getting paid good money, and they've been injured, not injured. He's a guy that got thrown into the mix because of injury and has played outstanding. I don't think the Tariq Woollens, I don't think the Alontae Taylors, I don't think the Kyle Pitts, I don't think like the top of the board free agents, I don't think they're looking to come be a part of a rebuild. I think they're going to take their money and go to a team that's already in the playoffs. Whether that fares for them or not, it's none of my business, but long rangy corner. I like his aggressiveness. Obviously the Tennessee Titans played 17 different defensive backs this season. I would like to move Marcus Harris back to the slot because he can play inside out. So if somebody motions, he's perfectly fine staying outside. But I think you got to improve the overall 53. Darrell Baker Jr. was my favorite of all the rotational cornerbacks that stood the test of the season. Dalen Everett and Keontae Scott, obviously the two young guys. And then you just want to have plenty of money if you're the Tennessee Titans to sit back and wait on some guys to maybe get cut, guys maybe get released. Then you keep your eyes like that. Kayvon Thibodeau, before preseason, you would think this guy would have had a high marker. Did not have a very high ceiling year, splitting time with Abdul Carter and Brian Burns having the season he had. So the price on Thibodeau may be one in which the Tennessee Titans may be able to actually grab him. Arden Key is gone. Draymond Jones is gone. Young guys, Truman Jones and Jalen Harrell. Ali Gay still under contract. But I would bring back Jahad Ward and Sebastian Joseph Day as guys, as well as you get CJ Ravenel and James Lynch is your other two guys. They don't have cards for me to visualize it for y'all. And then when you go to the offense, the offensive line jail down the stretch, you already spent the 5th round pick on Jackson Slater. He got to chill for a year. You bring back Corey Levin and Oli Udoh. Carter Smith would be your backup left tackle. You have Crenshaw Dixon as another swing that would be on either practice squad or an addition, game day elevation. You know, last year they had 11 offensive linemen they started the 53 with. You still got Drew Moss under contract at right guard. And then you pick between Dillinger, Hance, and got a couple of guards that's just been laying around on practice squad all year. Late round guards in my draft, there should be an abundance of them. I always see Texas's guard, and Carmona. It's a few people that always fall to those later rounds. May be able to pick up an extra guard, undrafted. The Titans used to be the king of undrafted, but you know, Chris Brazel, Zachariah Branch, Tim DK, Aomana Restrepo, may want to let him heal up and let Van Jefferson be the sixth receiver, or Bryce Oliver, one of the two. And probably you go Bryce Oliver because he's younger and he's a good special teamer. So it's like the upside of longevity for Bryce Oliver would be over Van Jefferson. I'd bring Marcus Mariota back as my QB2, trade Will Levis, get draft capital. So, you know, Titans don't run fullbacks. So Marlon Klein would be here. Jamari Taylor would be here behind Khalil Mullins. And you'd already have two young backs that when Pollard and Spears' contract was up, even if you decided to move Pollard before the trade deadline next season and trade an expiring contract, it would be the end of Tajay Spears' rookie deal. And you have Khalil Mullins and Jamari Taylor there as well, because I'd rather have a young rookie with promise than going back to the well with Amarius Mims and Julius Chestnut, personally. So that's how my I know a lot of people like Alec Pierce and Romeo Doubs, but if you have to spend 20 million plus on Romeo Doubs and Alec Pierce, Doubs has never had a 1,000-yard season. I don't care if he was the main target or not. You look at Alec Pierce, great production, a 6'3" dunker on the outside, but is he $25 million number one receiver worth? And I don't think so. I think that you could draft Chris Brazel and Zachariah Branch and let a young group of guys grow like the Panthers did with Xavier Legette, Tetroa McMillan, Coker, Jimmy Horn, Jatavian Sanders. Like, let the quarterback grow with some young guys. It'd be nice, but you know, Calvin Ridley's getting $28 million next year, and little to no production with the broken leg this year, and then last year, slow start to the season, anyways. So I mean, you're banking that you're gonna burn your $28 million. That Ridley's gonna return to form at 30, or if you're gonna go try and get Alec Pierce or Romeo Doubs, I'd rather just hit the draft and just have a young core nucleus. Same with Chig. Market value was around 5 or 6 million. He had a really productive year, led the team in run after catch, receptions, and yards. So when you look at that, his projected value is over 10 million. When you get over 10 million, it's going to be Chig, Okonkwo, Isaiah Likely, and Kyle Pitts. I would love to say you could put Kyle Pitts right here and bump Gunnar Helm down to tight end 2. DMR would go to tight end 4, and you still could draft a tight end, but
let me teach you how to
$10 to $15 million on a tight end, or $20 to $25 million on guys that have been wide receiver 2s and expect them to be wide receiver 1s. I just think that path is closed. I think you're better off just slow roasting it in the draft and growing your team that way. So hope y'all like my free agent and mock draft. This would give you money. You could make Jeffrey Simmons one of the highest paid all time. You could extend Peter Skoronski, our best lineman, early. And it gives you opportunity that it gives you opportunity to still have a lot of money, so that when teams start having their June 1st cuts and preseason cuts, and you know teams are tanking next season and trading off and dumping players, then you have plenty of money to go after and draft capital in the future. You just don't want to be trading away draft capital for veterans, or you don't want to be overspending because you got it. Just because you got it in your pocket don't mean that you got to spend it. And now I'll get caught back up into y'all comments. I hate getting behind on comments, but I had to go through the spiel while I had it on the screen so y'all could see it. Sensational. Big Bill. What's popping? Dun 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 dun. Giants cornerback been missing. Josh Allen is a good football player, better than Elway, better than Marino. Mortality. Blah, 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 blah. He just trying to get clicks. Y'all gotta know when somebody's trolling, trying to get clicks, and when they ain't. Corey D, Bane, Jeff Sweat, Femi, and then I got Kayvon Thibodeau in there too. I think the Tennessee Titans got to start building rotational. Late rounds, I like Zion, Young out of Missouri, and I like Dennis Sutton out of Penn State. If we trade back or something happens and we don't get Bane or Reese, I like those two guys. That'll be between pick 100 and 150. Kevin Coleman in Missouri, wide receiver. Dude's got a little twitch. It's a few guys. Henry out of UTSA, running back out of UTSA. I like him late rounds. It's a lot of guys I got my eyes on. They said, what about David Bailey? The thing about David Bailey is if you stick and pick in the top 5, it has to be Arvell Reese or Ruben Bain. If you trade back past 5, getting in between 5 and 10, then you start thinking about Jeremiah Love. You start thinking about taking the best corner off the board. You start thinking the best player available in a different way. I can't be convinced that Carnell Tate and Jordan Tyson singularly would be better than having Chris Brazel and Zachariah Branch combined. I just can't. Or if Denzel Boston fell or Chris Bell was there and Brazel was gone, I just can't be convinced that the 2-for-1 with the way the Titans roster is, that wouldn't be a better option. Crash Outcast say you need a real football team, and the Titans are a failing franchise. Why you think they lose all the players and nobody wants to coach there? Boy, in a way, dreaming of players. So the Tennessee Titans are not a real football team, y'all. They're team 33. Even though we're watching the Houston Texans on TV tonight and they haven't ever been to an AFC championship game in their entire history, somehow the Tennessee Titans are not a real football team. Do we have to do this? Do we have to try so hard to Titans are bad, man? I guarantee you is one of those people, man. Patriots look bad last year. Bears look bad last year. Man, Jags look bad. Man, how they ever gonna win? Man, Panthers ain't never gonna win in the South. Then lo and behold, a year later, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Lions, all the teams that were picked to win their division and make a run and be on the Super Bowl window. The Commanders was in the NFC Championship last year. All these teams are picking top 10 this year. And all those teams that I just mentioned, 4 teams finished in the bottom 10 of the league last year and still won their division. Bro, are we going to do this every night? Are we going to have real football conversations? Everett is a player and Zachariah Branch is a burr. I like Keontae Scott though. I think the Titans got to get into having some young guys that nobody thought about. Marcus Harris. Then when Marcus Harris got thrust in, obviously he was the best corner on the field, forcing fumbles, pass defense. You got his first game. I think he was on Lab McConkey and he was all over him. So it's like at some point you gotta just trust that some of these young guys is gonna step in. That's what's, when you look at the Texans defense, Stingley Jr., Lassiter, Petrie, Will Anderson, Toa, it's a bunch of young dudes. Becker, we got to pull Mills in. Stroud is, man, I don't know what's going on with Stroud, not holding on to the football. I don't know, what's going on with CJ Stroud. We might need to put a glove on or something tonight, because if he didn't turn the ball over, I don't think the Steelers would even score tonight. TJ, what up? Game is annoying. You need to be more creative on offense, not predictable. The Texans defense is too good. But TJ, I don't think you can, some of y'all just ain't watched the Texans play football, bro. there's nothing creative you can do. Like, if you're going to drop back 30 plus times and it's Daniil Hunter on this side and Will Anderson on that side, all I'm going to tell you is good luck, because Lassiter, Stingley, like they DBs is just not going. You know what I'm saying? Like, you seen the bootleg play action where the right tackle missed the block and Aaron Rodgers had to throw the ball away. Like, you can't get creative against people that can just send 4 or 5 the whole game and get home every play. Like, them two is gonna get home. And if you drop back 30 times, it's like Myles Garrett. You're not finna drop back 30 times and your quarterback stay clean. Like, you're gonna get hit. Zay, what up? It's like, to beat the Texans, you gotta find a way to run the football and get the ball out hot. But they DBs play press man and they don't get beat that often, and they tackle well. Like, the whole team hit. Like, I've been telling y'all, bro, when the Texans played Josh Allen in prime time and they sacked him 8 times, like, Josh Allen can't get away from that. Like, Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson is as fast as the receivers on your team, and they're big as your linemen. So it's like, these dudes is 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", and they're fast. Like, they outrun the running backs to the sideline. Like, they just that good. And I'm a Titan fan, so, like, for me to give respect for the Texans, it's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm an unbiased person. Like, when you watch the Texans play defense, you just like, they can get out. They're one of them teams that don't have to send the dogs to get after you. And if they do, like, you're going to have no time to draw back. That's why, if you read his lips, Aaron Rodgers have been saying all night, do your job.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Because he know, like, they got to give him time to get the ball out. Aaron Rodgers is not mobile anymore. He can't really move like that. He can move if, you know, against average players, but he's not taking the chance that he's not fooling or getting away from Will Anderson or Daniil Hunter. Tyler Sage, you said, I feel you on there. I'm taking that 2 for 1. Yeah, I mean, the Titans are not in a position to just, like, sit in, pick best player available premium. Like, the Titans have to make the entire 53-man roster look better, where they got 20 players that they got to re-sign. And they got plenty of money. But if you see the way that I set up the free agency and the draft board, I did it in a way where you're just not throwing money at problems. Like, you're actually putting players that can grow and develop into a scheme and play, like, your style of football and the way you want them to play. Like, that was my aim, because it's easy to say, like, let's just go get Alec Pierce and draft this guy. Like, okay. And then, like, we're still no better. Like, let's say Alec Pierce missed 3 or 4 games and you still back out there running out there with DK and Ailmana. You know what I'm saying? Like, just them by themselves. Like, even if they progress into their second year, like still, that's not enough, bro. Like, you really need the 53 to get better. Like, you need an entire room of DBs. You need an entire room of wide receivers. Like, you need a whole room of people. A-Rod, but I mean, I ain't gonna say he a statue. A-Rod still move good for his age. Like, he's a smart player. Like, Aaron Rodgers just knows how to manipulate defenses. He can read the defense, and the only thing is like, you gotta have players around him that understand to get on his timing, because, like, he gonna get frustrated if things ain't going the way he want them to go. He's like 42 going on 43 years old, so it's not like this is spring chicken Aaron Rodgers where he can still run and move. Because Aaron Rodgers was one of those original, him and Steve Young was one of those original guys that surprise you when they take off with their athleticism, running out of the pocket, buying time and using their legs. Zay, what it do? Chronic fan, what's good? Adam L, Anthony Tony, Upshaw, Lil D, Number One Pack, Smoker, William D, Rabbit, Evan P, Tyler Sage. I hope I said what's up to everybody, man. If y'all got any questions, now is the time to drop them in lay chat. Houston hasn't lost a game since November 2nd. No one's been able to figure out the last 2 months. I mean, the hard part about Houston is just the fact that Houston just send the dogs, bro. Like, without having to send the dogs. You feel me? Ravens need to trade back with the Vikings and pick up the second round pick for real. The thing is like teams gotta want to deal with you. It's gotta be somebody on their board that and see Ty Simpson decision to come out, Mendoza's out, Dante, like Trinidad Chambliss will come out. He has a chance to push himself into the first round. I think first round, early second. Dante Moore, like watching, like on my draft board alone, Raleek Brown, Horton, and what's his face? All hit the portal. So it's like sometimes you have people on your board and they hit the portal, and you had to go to a whole another look of picking the right player at the right spot for the right value. Because we still got to get into the combine, and you gonna watch Nick Harbor running 4.2, 4.3 at 6'5". You probably gonna watch some defensive back or some lineman take off running and run some abnormal speed. You know, might have somebody that just a physical specimen that jumps up that nobody how Xavier Worthy was. Like, nobody's really thinking about Xavier Worthy till he ran an all-time combine speed, and then, you know, he winds up being a trade Chiefs to Bills, and the Chiefs got Xavier Worthy. So
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Sam Darnold win a playoff game. It's a lot of pressure being the number one seed, sitting back, watching, knowing how his season ended last year. He definitely don't want to have the season he had with the number one seed and lose at home. Oh, Aaron Rodgers still throw dots. Cool. What it do, Mr. Bipolar? And yeah, I love Chig Okonkwo too. Like I was hoping that like they could have extended him early and got a team friendly deal, but by him leading the team in every category receiving again, like I don't blame him for going out and getting the $10 million. I don't see the Titans spending $10+ million on him, because like he'd be considered the tight end too. He wouldn't be considered the inline tight end. And I just don't see the Titans going out and like letting Chig walk and then turn around and spending 10 to 15 million on Pitts or Isaiah Likely, even though they are really good. And if they did, I would understand exactly where they was coming from by going after. I mean, Kyle Pitts has wide receiver numbers at tight end, so I just think on the value end of it, I think the Titans just really got to focus on the draft. And if there just happens to get somebody like Wright or Thibodeau, bringing back Baker Jr. and Joseph Day, you know, like a couple, Corey Levin, it's a couple people that I bring back, but outside of that, I want the draft. Do you feel like Caleb Downs would be a good pick? Nah. I mean, we just expended Amani Hooker and traded back off of Luther Burden to get Femi and Kevin Winston. And I just don't see you trading and drafting Kevin Winston, and Xavier Woods still got another year on his deal. And I just don't see them burning their first overall pick for a safety. And then unless they planned on starting three safeties, then you start three safeties and you paying Xavier Woods $4 million to sit on the bench with his guaranteed year next year. I just don't like Caleb Downs is a for sure bona fide pick. If you picking him, you getting a starting caliber player. But I just don't see the Tennessee Titans need to burn it, because they got holes in way too. Like, if I was gonna burn best player available like Caleb Downs, I would just draft Jeremiah Love and I'd deal Tony Pollard in the preseason. You know, like that realistically, you know, Tony Pollard's had 1,000 yards last 2-3 years. I try to get some out of him. He only got $2 million guaranteed. and he's getting $9 million next year. Like, best player available, you get into that spot. I see the Titans taking a chance of saying you're gonna draft the best tackle in the draft, or on our offensive line, or get Jeremiah. Even if there was a cornerback that came out of the combine and you felt like that was the next Pat Surtain, you would take cornerback. The safety would be the last place that I think the Titans would burn their first round pick. They just got too many holes elsewhere. What's my thoughts on the reports that Harbaugh is studying tape of Cam? See if it entices. I think he's doing what his agent told him to do. He's driving his price up. It's sick seeing 3 of the final 4 teams in the NFC being from the NFC West. Meanwhile, there's the Cardinals. Playoff game Saturday. Think we got a chance to win. Man, the 49ers is a good team. I ain't gonna put nothing past them. I'm just saying, like, at some point, all the injuries got to pile up. The Eagles.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Eagles just imploded, but the 49ers, the well-coached team, they're just a good football team. They're going to be a tough out. Regardless of how it goes down, I think the Niners is a team that it'd be hard for somebody to blow them out. It'd be, I can't remember why I see somebody just put belt on the Niners. Charles D. He said Madden curse struck again. Who was on the cover of Madden this year? Saquon? Hey, make sure y'all following the YouTube so y'all can catch these shop talks. Please, please, please. I need y'all to like, comment, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. We getting real close to like partner level on YouTube. I just need to watch hours. So if y'all get a chance, man, I'd be mighty obliged. He didn't get hurt though. Saquon played the whole year. It wasn't like the old Madden curses where a person will be on the cover of Madden and then they don't play at all. But I think this is one of the best free agent builds and in draft builds that I've done, just because like it gave you like future and at the same time addressed, and the people that you brought back, these are year-to-year contracts. Marcus Mariota would be $5 to $8 million. You already got Restrepo on futures. If you brought Bryce Oliver or Van Jefferson back for wide receiver 6, it would be cheap. On defense, I think you'd be getting Thibodeau at a decent price, Nashawn Wright at a decent price, because I think these guys would be like half of what a Jalen Phillips or Tariq Woolen or somebody would be asking. Then you got Keontae Scott, Dalen Everett, Nashawn Wright, Marcus Harris, Baker Jr., and then Michael Robinson. So like you be kind of solid with young guys that can grow. You'll finally have some depth that hopefully they won't trade it away. Big Jeff, T Sweat, Sebastian Joseph Day, Ruben Bain. You be able to let T Sweat eat on the early downs, third down. You be able to move Ruben Bain inside with Jeff Simmons, and then have Thibodeau and Femi like very, very, very athletic up front and can really get after some people. That way, Jacob Rodriguez would take over where Miles he is. Him and James Williams playing behind Barton and Cedric Gray. There'll be a natural progression to say like, okay, between James Williams and Rodriguez, one of these guys would be taking over Cody Barton's spot. And then you just slowly just searching those 4th and 5th rounds for those linebackers. Like Cedric Gray was a 4th round linebacker that was at the top of the NFL and would have led the NFL in tackles if he didn't miss that last game and a half at the end of the season. Still finished as one of the top tacklers in the NFL. Then Xavier, you have him playing behind Hook, and you got Kevin Winston. Xavier was got one more year, and then you just slowly build some guys in behind to be able to have some depth at every position and improve the overall talent. So this to me was one of my favorite one of my favorite draft boards and free agent builds that I did. She was popping. So I'm definitely gonna chop that. It'll be on the tube. Y'all got any more good questions, man? Y'all got some good questions coming though. I forgot Houston started 0-3, finishing 12-2, winning 9 straight is crazy. Becker, do you remember when that happened? I said,
let me teach you how to
the
vibe.
Texans play the Titans. And there's a chance that the Titans was 0-3. Titans lost to the Broncos, to the Rams, and to the Colts. Then they played the Texans. And I was like, the Titans are gonna. If the Titans lose this game, Callahan is gonna get fired. Titans lost that game. Callahan got demoted as OC. And then D'Amico Ryans, I was like, how hot is the hot seat? If D'Amico Ryans goes 0-4, it'd be almost impossible for the Texans to make the comeback. And their defense just lost their minds and went crazy the rest of the season. And the Colts went from 8-1 to out the playoffs. Imagine. She last, what up? Like that was like this has been like the most up and down, topsy-turvy, crazy season in the NFL that I've seen in a minute. And you know, you have to remember too that at some of those times, that was Davis Mills. At some part of that time, that was Davis Mills playing, not CJ Stroud.
But right here,
fourth quarter, if Houston wins, it's going to be a defensive battle between them and the Patriots. Yeah, it is. He said need the Texans to lose tonight. I don't know, my friend. Texans defense, like the Steelers wouldn't even have points if CJ Stroud just wasn't out there just turning the ball over. If CJ Stroud wasn't just fumbling the ball, like the Steelers wouldn't even have points. Ever since the Texans lost that OC they had when CJ Stroud first started, they ain't been able to get nothing done. This is a game where I wish both teams would lose. I respect both teams, but I don't like either one of them. Wow, Kami Fairbairn with a big boot, 10-6. Like I promise, like the Steelers would not have any points if CJ Stroud wasn't just fumbling the ball. I ain't gonna lie, Texans Patriots will be a good matchup. And what's crazy is the Texans no Tank Dell and no Joe Mixon all year too. That's like I think people underestimate what Joe Mixon was. Glad the Jags out. Texans need to go. No love for the division rivals. I ain't no hater. Them losing don't help me. It was sad to watch the Jags. Like, bro, if y'all didn't see my other video I dropped, Brian Thomas Jr. two targets, 2 catches, a touchdown. Jacoby Myers, they threw at him 5 times for 12 yards on 1 catch. And the final play was forcing the ball to Jacoby Myers that got picked off. Like, how you got Brian Thomas and just don't throw him the ball? like I don't know what level doghouse he's in with the coaching staff. But there's gonna be a team this offseason that's going to take him off their hands. I could see the Bills or the Chiefs, you know, taking a stab at Brian Thomas. If anything crazy don't happen, I think AJ get traded. I could see the Patriots, not the Titans. Like, Titan fans got to get out their mind. Like, I don't see the Titans trading for a bunch of draft capital for any of them. Like, if you got to trade a bunch of draft picks to get AJ Brown, why would you not just follow the draft board I just had and have, like, do you understand Chris Brazil led SEC in this season? He's 6'5" and he's gonna run a 4.3 at the combine, and he's twitchy. You put him with A.O. Monner, DK, Zachariah Branch, and Restrepo, bro. I don't want to trade 2 picks to get AJ Brown, bro. I don't. Now, if AJ Brown was just a free agent, George Pickens is the top free agent, and he's not leaving Dallas. You know, Alec Pierce had 1,000 yards on 40 catches. You know, the dude is a 6'3" dunker. He's a vertical threat, but I don't want to pay him $25 million. I just be patient and develop some players. At some point, you have to just be patient and develop some players. DK Metcalf dropped a wide open pass. DK Metcalf has never been a great hands guy. Brian Thomas Jr. to the Titans. You have to trade. I don't want the Titans to trade no draft. Like, if you're gonna trade 2 draft picks to get Brian Thomas Jr., why would you not just draft Brazil or Denzel Boston or Chris Bale in the second? Like, why? Like, you know, the thing about getting players in the draft is you got them for 4 years at a set price. You know, you get a second round. You get Brazil in the second round, Zachariah Branch. You probably gonna give the guy like $12 to $15 million over 4 years. Like, and you know, a third round pick in Branch would be, you know, $2 million a year. Something like, dog. Like, if you get Brian Thomas and he's already wasted most of his rookie years, you're gonna get him and then gotta pay him. So it's like, we're not trading draft capital and then still have to pay. Like, if there was a free agent, like if Romeo Doubs was to want to come to the Titans and it wasn't gonna cost them, and it wasn't gonna cost them a lot, then, you know, like, you would look at something like that. But I'm not spending $25 million on one of these guys, hoping, wishing, praying, and I'm not gonna send 2 draft picks. You know, I'm not gonna send 2 draft picks for any of these guys. Yeah, AJ Brown is done in Tennessee. It's all in the past. Brian Thomas Jr. gets traded, obviously, especially with how Parker Washington played in the season. Jacksonville extended Jacoby Myers, right? And they got Travis Hunter coming back. But it's like they did that despite themselves. Like, just because they're gonna trade him or move him don't mean they shouldn't have used him, because now they devalued him. Like, you got him and you threw the ball to Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington instead of him. He had 2 targets, 2 catches, and a touchdown, but you throwing the ball to Jacoby Myers the whole game. I still couldn't be convinced that, like, the Jags made some bad long-term moves. Like, you traded your first round draft pick this year for Travis Hunter to play him on both sides of the ball, and now the way you running your offense, you saying Travis Hunter will be wide receiver 3 or 4. Then you're going to trade Brian Thomas after you devalue him by not getting him the football. So that means the team is not going to give as much draft capital to you now to get Brian Thomas Jr., right? Then in the midst of it, it's like you kind of put yourself in this boat where, like, your hand is forced. So now if you get Travis Hunter and you move him to cornerback, you mean you traded 2 first rounds to take him and move him at cornerback and not play him on offense? Like, I don't know. Like, it just, you know, you traded draft capital to get Jacoby Myers. Like, you trading, and, like, the Jags and the Colts don't have a first round draft pick. And the Colts missed the playoffs, and the Jags was one and done. So it's like you got to hold on to it. You got to be the Rams. The Rams are still in the playoffs, and they got Atlanta's first round pick and their own. and the Rams got like $80 million, almost $90 million in cap space. So that's why I was saying like the Tariq Woolens, the Alec Pierces, like those guys, like the Rams could easily afford any of them people that if they wanted them. Uh-oh. It's getting ugly out there. Brian Thomas Jr. to the Browns. I mean, the Browns have the extra. The Cowboys, the Browns, the Jets, and the Rams all have multiple first-round picks. So if I'm the Browns, I'd give up a second for him. Like, think about it. Like, Cowboys gave up a second for George Pickens. They didn't use him this year. If they wanted to trade him, some team could lowball them for a second. Now, you said to the Titans. Only way I see to the Titans is like, let's say the Titans traded out of their 4th overall pick and picked up multiple picks in doing so, where they had like 2 firsts and they sent one of those firsts for Brian Thomas. I could see something like that, but I just don't see them. I don't like, that's a lot to happen for a person to get there. If we trade for any receiver, it's got to be somebody more than well worth it. Only person to consider is maybe Jamar Chase. Never cost us. I'm saying like Jamar Chase, Jay Jettis, that's all unrealistic. Like you probably got to give up 2 firsts for players like that, like the Colts did for Sauce. Like the Titans ain't in a position to be trading draft capital. So it's like, okay, you see George Pickens, you see Jay Jettis, you see Brian Thomas. You have high draft capital. You can literally just draft Chris Brosnan and Zachariah Branch and put them with DK and Aomon and Restrepo and take your pick. Is it Van Jefferson or Bryce Oliver you bring back as your 6th receiver to play special teams? Like, it's pretty simple. Because if your 6th receiver is Van Jefferson or Bryce Oliver, like you've increased the entire room. You know, like there was weeks where James Prochet and Mason Kinsey was playing out wide. Brian Thomas Jr. to San Francisco in the offseason after they trade Brandon Ayuk. Like, it's a lot of teams that got capital that, you know, people don't think about having capital and having the bread, but they got it. You know, the Commanders are going to have a top 5 pick. You know, the Commanders could because Deebo Samuel's a free agent. Deebo Samuel will be a free agent if they don't extend him. They could just let Deebo walk in and get Brian Thomas. They could sign Alec Pierce. They could get Dobbs. Like, it's a lot that go on because there's some teams that really set themselves up right. You know, the Cowboys are gonna have 2 firsts. The Rams gonna have 2 firsts. The Jets gonna have 2 firsts. The Browns gonna have 2 firsts. And the crazy part is the way it fell. The Raiders got the number 1 pick, and you know they finna pick Mendoza. So, like, it kind of changes. What a catch from Ferguson! Oh my God! I mean, is that Freiermuth? What a catch! Good God! I mean, you talk about dunking. Last what up, she. You heard? What a catch. Because I expect the Cowboys to extend Pickens and bring him back and then work a deal out later. Wow. Old man Rodgers just tripped on his own feet. Danico Autry, Tennessee Titans legend. Followed by Azeez Al-Shaair, Tennessee Titans legend. You know, Al-Shaair has the Tennessee Titans record for tackles in the season. let him go get Cody Barton. Well, not technically. They went and got Ernest Jones. Then they traded Ernest Jones for Jerome Baker, who didn't want to come here when he first was a free agent. He took a visit here and didn't come here. So imagine not coming here, and then we traded Ernest Smith, and he had to still come back, and then we cut him again, bro. There's a lot of Tennessee Titan legends in the playoffs. I think it's like 50 plus active. Y'all remember when I made that chart and people were so butthurt when I said it was 60 some Titan legends, and people was like, oh, those guys don't play. Roger McCreary won a playoff game. Kevin Byard led the league in interceptions and won a playoff game. I'm watching Danico Autry win a playoff game. I watched Tierra Tart and a bunch of ex-Titans on the Chargers and the Patriots. Robert Spillane, Jack Gibbons, Harold Landry. I watched a lot of ex-Titans ball out this postseason. 4th and 13. Man. Y'all watching these boys get after Aaron Rodgers and y'all don't want Ruben Bain, man. Hey, listen. Tennessee Titan fans. I know y'all thinking about Carnell Tate. I know y'all thinking about Jordan Love. I said it wrong. Y'all watching the Texans defense, Tennessee Titan fans. I know you think about Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, Jeremiah Love. Listen, just take one of these edge rushers. This is Ruben Bain, Arvell Reese. Just take one of these edge rushers. Give me Kayvon Thibodeau in free agency. Let Femi come back, and let's have a healthy rotation of guys that can get after the quarterback. Sheesh. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, come on, bro. Like, they twisting, stunting, inside out, outside in. Aaron Rodgers just dropping back and just curling up in a fetal position. Danico Autry was definitely a Titans legend, but he bounced from the AFC South. He was a Colt before Titan. Aziz is cool, but he didn't stay with us long. I mean, the problem is, like, the Titans got Aziz, and it's like, I don't know if he's the guy. And then they let him go to the Texans. And then they turn around and get Ernest Jones, and then Ernest Jones is a dog. Then you turn around and send him to the Seahawks and get Jerome Baker back, and then cut him, and then go give Cody Barton a bunch of money. You can't convince me that Cody Barton is better than Aziz Al-Shire or Ernest Jones. That's kind of my point when I say the Titan legend part. Like, even Danico Autry, he had a lot of sacks that year, and he was due to get some bread, right? So you let go of Danico Autry, that was really freeing up Big Jeff. In the meantime, like, you just gonna play musical chairs. Like, they kind of got lucky with getting Sebastian Joseph Day. He's been pretty solid, but we wound up giving Arden Key money. Draymond Jones came and was in a slow start before he got going. And once he started getting a sack every game, they traded him. He's only on a 1-year deal anyways. Like, that's the problem with the Titans, is like, the things, like, they get rid of players to try to upgrade or try to add value, or feel like a person ain't worth it, or this and that, and still wind up spending more money. It was the same with Nick Westbrook or Kenne. I know people be getting mad when I bring him up because he didn't have like some outstanding year on the Dolphins playing behind Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But the reality is, he had 9 touchdowns on our team last year and 500 yards on hardly no targets, with Mason Rudolph and Will Levis playing. And then now you're going to say, well, I mean what? Dude was an undrafted free agent. He was a big physical target, a dude that run, block, and played in every level of the team needed to play. You wind up giving Van Jefferson more money than him and Tyler Lockett more money than him. Gave Tyler Lockett $4 million and just basically walk out. Tyler Lockett had 7 catches for 70 yards in like 6 games. Bro, you should have just gave gave Nick Westbrook the money and just left him there, we'd have had way more production. Like, that's my problem with the Titans is like when they do have productive players, like you wanted Kevin Byard to take a pay cut only to trade him to the Eagles and get Edmonds back. You cut him. You drafted Jaquan Jackson and Jarvis Brownlee with the 2 picks. You cut Jaquan Jackson and then you trade Jarvis Brownlee, who is a 5th round pick for a 6th round pick. So you lost value all the way out. So whatever they pick in the 6th round this year, it's going to be all that's left of the Kevin Byard deal completely. He's leading the league in interceptions and winning playoff games. So it's like, how many people have played free safety? We had somebody that was working at Pizza Hut play free safety. We had 17 different DBs this year. It's like you cut Cheeto to play Jarvis, but then obviously you knew you was going to trade Jarvis. Nobody knew preseason that the L'Jarius Sneed was going to start because everybody assumed he was still hurt. Nobody heard nothing from Titans media or Titans front office about Sneed. They would rarely even bring him up in the press conferences leading up to the season. So when he comes out and then you cut Cheeto and then Cheeto's on the Ravens and you paying him to play on the Ravens and then you trade Jarvis after 2 weeks and then trade Roger, like, you don't have to sign Amar Davis and Samuel Womack and Kamon Hall and Kyrie. You ain't got to sign Jarek Reed and Hallett and Sanusi Kane, like Michael Rock. You just signed like 10 people because you could have just left it alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've always had that thing of like, they'll get rid of somebody and then like lose production in it. Like, they will let Derrick Henry walk without trading him. And then what did you get out of that? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you let Derrick Henry walk without trading him to let him walk free and then go give Tony Pollard's gonna make $9 million next year. You can't be serious, bro. Because Aziz was getting paid less than what Barton is getting now. Can't nobody make me believe that Cody Barton is better than Aziz. Kevin Byard about to get the bag. Ladik, come on, man. He said also Roger McCreary is my favorite secret Titan. Low key. Kong, bro, they did. If you go to the Titan website, they had just released a documentary about Roger McCreary's life, and then the next week they traded him. He's like the kiss of death. They said that They said that Roger McCreary was not. He didn't fit their scheme, and then they got rid of McCreary. They traded McCreary and then picked up Samuel Womack. Samuel Womack is like 5'8". He was falling down, like he couldn't guard nobody out there, bro. Like, so you saying you got rid of him because he didn't fit your scheme, but then you brought in a bunch of cornerbacks that was smaller than him. And Roger McCreary played physical. Him and Jarvis played physical. They was 5'10", 5'11", but they come up and hit. They brought in guys that don't hit. I ain't never seen Amar Davis or Elam or any of them dudes come up and hit ever. They said, I was so mad when we got rid of Ernest Jones. Once I found out Kenneth Murray Jr. wasn't working out, was disappointing. Once I already got Ernest, the defense went up. And the thing about it is Kenneth Murray Jr., I told all the Cowboy fans in my community, like, bruh is a missile. See ball, hit ball. If you need him to think, read and react, or guard in space, bruh just gonna be out there. He doing cardio to the max. We actually finessed the Cowboys out of that on that trade, because the Cowboys traded for him and we was gonna cut him anyways. Sounds like we see talent, we get talent, but we don't know what to do with it. We get AJ Brown, we don't know what to do with AJ Brown. We got Malik Willis, we didn't know what to do with Malik Willis. We had him playing in the 1975 offense. He got to Green Bay. They let him play action and play to his strong suit. Malik Willis is a big arm quarterback that's mobile. Play action, let him throw shots and let him throw on the move so he can see the field. It's not that hard. Like, you can't expect Malik Willis to run a Tannehill offense because Tannehill don't have the arm strength to throw outside the numbers. So everything the Tannehill throw is between the tackle box. Like the Tennessee Titans are great eyes of talent. It's just when they get him, they don't know how to develop talent and grow it and get it to a second contract. Like, it's sad. Chig has not missed a game in 4 years, and he's pretty much led us in receptions, yards, and run out the catch since he's been here. Over, like, if you take anybody in that period of 4 years, nobody was more productive than Chig. But he finna get 10 million plus, and you gotta let him walk, because you can't put Chig, Kyle Pitts, and Isaiah Likely side by side and spend $10-15 million on Chig. They should have extended him early and just like gave him some bread, you know, up front early. Then you would have still had him, and you could draft somebody and then just groom, you know. But it is what it is now. Like, Chig gonna do what Jonnu did. When Jonnu Smith got paid, it was the year that Derrick Henry got $12 million a year, and Jonnu Smith got $12 million a year too. And he's playing on the Steelers right now, Tennessee Titan legend. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jonnu Smith was like the fastest tight end to come out of draft. And then when Chig came out, he was like, I had him on my draft board. I said, this dude looked like Jonnu Smith again, because he just was too fast as a tight end. Ended up getting Cheeto to make room for Jarvis. And then we traded Jarvis just to make room for Snead. Nah, we didn't trade. Like, nobody knew Snead was coming back. Snead was cornerback 1. Cheeto was cornerback 2. Roger was in the slot. Brownlee was gonna be playing behind Cheeto if everybody was healthy. They cut Cheeto because he was getting 13 million. $7.5 million. The Ravens picked him up for 1.5, and that meant Snead, Brownlee, Roger, and then Marcus Harris was gonna be behind them with Baker Jr. Then 2 games into the season, you trade Jarvis, and then that puts Baker Jr. into the outside role because they didn't know if they was gonna play Harris inside or out. Snead gets hurt. That's when they had to go pick up Amar Davis, but they went and got Amar Davis off the Ravens practice squad that got waived. Womack was waived off the Colts. So you just picking up a bunch of waiver guys, and it's like you started with Snead, Cheeto, Roger, Jarvis, Marcus. Then Snead goes out. You cut Cheeto first to start Brownlee, because you say we gonna go Snead, Brownlee, Roger in the slot, and then we grown Marcus and Baker Jr. Then what happens is you trade Jarvis, and then you start just moving people, because Kevin Winston Jr. was hurt to start the season. He was started the season on IR, so you had Xavier Woods and Quandre Diggs with Monty back deep. Like, it's just been, because when they started losing all them corners, if you remember, they put Quandre Diggs at cornerback at nickel, and they left Xavier Woods deep with Monty, and they put Quandre Diggs in the box. That shit didn't work out because he's old. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't expect the older safety to be down in the box trying to run deep. It just got out of control fast. That's how you play 17 different defensive backs. Hey, look, Pittsburgh Steelers, come on down.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
You said it was Justin Fields.
Let me teach you how to
You
vibe.
said it was Russell Wilson. Even though Freiermuth dropped that wide open pass last. You said George Pickens didn't know how to. You gave DK all that money. You told me to relax. That Aaron Rodgers had it. The old man Rodgers wasn't gonna retire after this season, and you didn't draft no quarterback. So now you got Will Howard and Mason Rudolph. When Aaron Rodgers went down, you could have played Will Howard and got him some reps, but now you didn't play Mason Rudolph, and you don't know what you got in Will Howard, and you got to go back to the drawing board in the draft. You You went and got Jalen Ramsey. TJ Watt came back. And now last week, like I said, for all y'all Steelers fans that's on my TikTok, on my shorts, and I said, if the Ravens would have made that field goal, how hot is the seat for Mike Tomlin would have been? Y'all told me don't worry because I knew y'all was confident. I know some of y'all haven't watched this Texans defense, so I was like, listen, bro, I don't think they're going to be able to do nothing with the Texans defense. He said Pittsburgh Steelers one and done again. And so y'all be saying the Tennessee Titans are like, listen, the Steelers are now on year 11 going on 12 of not winning the postseason game. One and undefeated.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
Yeah, they did Denard Wilson dirty. But even if you go back to my other content when I was talking about the mistakes that they made, Chad Brinker and Rand Carthon hiring Brian Callahan, I hope that Bergonzi don't make this same mistake. I hope he take his time because they got enamored with Brian Callahan when he touched the building and didn't check his game plan of Colt Anderson, first time special teams coordinator, Nick Holtz, his best friend, first time OC, Denard Wilson, first time OC, and he hired his daddy. You know, so anytime that they didn't really look over his game plan, like what was they doing? Just eating steaks and hot chicken, listening to country music. I don't know what they was doing, but they didn't check his game plan or what he wanted to do with the staff. And Denard Wilson performed better than any of the coaches that they had day one. Bones Fossil came in and did his job, and respect. They still, still not worthy of staying, but Mike McCoy and Bo Hardegree got more out of the roster than Brian Callahan got in 2 years. So I think Denard Wilson has already interviewed for the Commanders, and there's a good chance that wherever Harbaugh goes, that Denard Wilson could be his DC. That's why I posted that picture, because Denard Wilson's defense still kept him in games, even like rotating guys, and you play 17 different corners in a season. Like just corners deep. You paid 10 or 11 different corners, and 17 defensive backs had rotated in. And you think about like JSN, Nico Collins, everybody had their best game of the season against the Titans, because the Titans just don't have any. Oh my God, another pick six. Hey, look, you supposed to take a knee and ran the clock. Oh my goodness. Man, Dallas Cowboys having more playoff wins in the last decade. That knee slapping is funny. Another pick six. Boy, they ain't even try to tackle him, boy. That boy Kalen Bullock just slowed down. You got offensive linemen out there trying to tackle that man. The way Rodgers playing right now, no, unless he was a mentor role and doesn't have to see a field. Nah, Aaron Rodgers not coming back. This was a swan song for Aaron Rodgers. He said Steelers, the fuck, why I missed. Yeah, they the Texans defense has just unleashed the can of whoop at now. CJ Stroud ain't do nothing today but fumble the ball. I tell you, if CJ Stroud didn't fumble the ball, I don't think the Steelers even scored points. You said where the Steelers fans go? Hiding under a rock. This is why Shotbybuddha is undefeated. This is why I'm the most unbiased. This is why I'm the best. This is why I don't lose in debate. Because when my teams lose, I don't make excuses. I just show up and say, hey, look, Indiana manhandled us. We couldn't run the football. Georgia took us to the woodshed with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Hey, man, hats off to Kirby. Hats off to Kirk Cignetti. The Oklahoma Sooners could have put belt on us if they didn't get scared and get out of their game plan in the second half. Hey, listen, it happens. it happens, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like Tennessee Titans. Hey, listen, I told y'all preseason, if the Tennessee Titans won 5 or 6 games, I'd be impressed. When Callahan got stripped of his play calling duties 1 month into the season, said, listen, just don't get Cam Ward killed. They got him killed at the end of the season, but at least they got him killed when the season was over. Rodgers definitely, when I did a mock draft. Yeah, I did. I can go back over for y'all if y'all for some of y'all that just popped in. If not, it's gonna be up on the YouTube in the morning. But I'll go back over it because the Steelers is over here crying, bro. It's cats on the bench crying. Aaron Rodgers is like, I'm finna go on my sabbatical. He finna go dark. What he do when he don't answer the phone? Because they didn't discount double checked his ass tonight. He did not save a lot of money on his car insurance tonight, man. He ain't no discount double check. Jake from State Farm is not around. Blazing does. I'm finna give y'all the mock again. I already went over it, but I'm gonna go back over it. We definitely winning more games. But to me, it never was about winning games. Like, to me, down the stretch, the offensive line gelled. They got healthy. Down the stretch, they was able to run the football. They decided that the first half of the season, we're throwing bubble screens for Tyler Lockett and Van Jefferson. Maybe we should let some people block for Tim DK to catch the football. You know, like just maybe we should throw the ball to Gunnerham. Chig always leads us in receptions, yards, and run after catch. Maybe we should throw Chig the ball. You know, some of those things happen. Tennessee Titans had went like 20-some games where they lost the rushing battle where the other team had more rushing yards than them. If y'all remember that home stretch around the time of the Patriots, Titans had like 25, 38, 54. Like, they went like a whole month where they didn't even have 100 yards rushing combined. You just can't get dominated like that up front at the line of scrimmage, because you think with a rookie quarterback, okay, you're going to have to run it, you're going to play defense, and you have to run play action, and you're going to have to be a good screen team. Tennessee Titans screens was awful to start the season. The Broncos game where all 3 receivers was blocking and he had to take dirt the ball, and the getting penalties, the knee down, Brian Callahan not knowing it's a catch. Just way too much stuff in the first half of the season. When we got to the bye week and got the Callahans out of there, because people don't remember that Bill Callahan was a run game coordinator, and then Brian Callahan was calling plays as a first-time head coach, and then his best friend is the OC and Nick Holtz, and they skipped over him to go to Bo Hardegree to call plays, the quarterback's coach. So it just was a cluster. And once they got to the bye and was able to regroup, like, the offense just played and Cam Ward just played completely different. If you remember early in the year, Tim DK ran a kickback and they didn't even try to give him the ball the rest of the game. Like, how does a dude run back a punt and then, like, you don't throw him no screen, no drag route, no shot play, nothing? Like, it just let me know they didn't have that in the game plan. They didn't have quarterback sneak in the game plan. We played the Chargers. The Chargers did like 6 quarterback sneaks, and then we was like 4th and inches like 10 times in the game and never ran quarterback sneak. And then in the press conference, they got to say, hey, do you got quarterback sneak? And is it in the game plan? Like, do y'all practice it? And they say, I don't know. Gotta ask those guys, like, how do you know you use 4th and inches like 10 times in a game and you don't have quarterback sneak? You haven't practiced it. Guys are idiots, man. Hey, Rod, darkness retreat about to come in 2 minutes and 39 seconds. Rod's about to go get high. Tomlin get fired. Want him in Tennessee over Harbaugh. Honestly, like, those are great coaches. I want the young guys. Like, give me Kubiak, give me Mentor or somebody, and give me 2 former head coaches as OC and DC. Because 20 years ago, Harbaugh and Tomlin went on a run. Andy Reid and the coaches that's, hot now, Pete Carroll, like, they were hot 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, coming from Reggie Bush to come to the NFL, Pete Carroll just went from national championships and Heisman's every year to NFL Super Bowls. Like, to be honest, give me the young coach with the veteran head OC and DC They just made a mistake with Brian Callahan. He was the hot offensive coordinator, the young guy, but you can't let a dude hire his daddy and his best friend and 2 other people that ain't never did the job before and expect to get a good outcome. You know, the GM was the first time, the head coach was the first time, the head coach calling plays for the first time, the OC for the first time, the DC for the first time, and the special team coach for the first time. Denard Wilson was the only one that seemed to have done his job correctly. We got to bring back Chig. I love Tuion, but Chig, if we would have extended Chig like I told him to do, coming into the season, if you extend him early, Chig's value is like $5 million a year. Chig led us in catches, receptions, and yards and yards after catch. Chig estimated to make $11 million next season. The Titans can't spend $11 million on Chig. I mean, Kyle Pitts and Isaiah Likely are out there. They're better tight ends than Chig. Because if you bring Chig back, you can't pay him $11 million to be tight end 2. He's Gunnar Helm is going to be tight end 1 because he's in line and a bigger tight end and better in blocking situations. You know, because Chig is not necessarily a good in the blocking department at tight end. So you can't pay a tight end 2 that much money. He said Cali did not prioritize. He didn't prioritize the run game. And on top of that, all his route combinations was always down. Like, he never had anything hot. Like, if it wasn't a screen with orbit motion, running 10 different directions, throwing behind the line of scrimmage, he did not how to throw like a simple levels concept or flat routes. You know, simple check downs that would help a young quarterback get into the rhythm of a game. You know, Callahan is thinking 17 to 25 yards down the field every play with an offensive line that lost J.C. Latham the first half of the first game in Denver on the road. Like, people don't take that into account, that the Titans had spent a lot of draft capital and a lot of money on the offensive line with Dan Moore, Peter Skoronski, Cushenberry, Zietler, and then moving J.C. back to right tackle. They spent a lot of money and resources on that to go to Denver. And in the first half, J.C. Latham's already out with a hip on IR. And then you putting John Ojukwu in. Then you get rid of John Ojukwu, and then Oli Udoh comes in. And by the time Oli Udoh starts to get some solid, like, I think he got 2 decent games under his belt. And then J.C. came back against Max Crosby, and they left him on an island to block Max Crosby by himself the whole game. So I don't know, man. Like, I just don't think that Callahan was seeing the field. He was seeing ghosts. Problem I got with Harbaugh is I want to see the run game more. He didn't do that with Derrick Henry this season. Man, crazy down the stretch that with no Lamar, Derrick Henry would like run a 100-yard touchdown and then he wouldn't touch the ball the whole fourth quarter. Are the Steelers going to be a top destination for coaches? No. It'll be a good job because they'll want to hire a young person, but I mean, let's be realistic. Like, the Ravens would be a more a higher destination than the Steelers because you got Lamar Jackson, you got the talent already there. The Steelers don't have a top pick. They're gonna be picking at the bottom of the first round, and they need a QB, and their QB is probably not in Pittsburgh. Because if you're a new coach and you come out to somebody who ain't had a losing season in 20 years, you ain't going to want to be stuck with Will Howard and put your career on that next season. He said Callie was thinking Cam Ward was Joe Burrow. No. Callie got Joe Burrow killed his first. Like, Joe Burrow's been getting killed his whole career. Him and Zach with that way of thinking of all that downfield pass and holding the ball is the reason why Joe Burrow is hurt now. Go back and look at Joe Burrow first year before second year they went to the Super Bowl, but we sacked them 9 times in Nashville. Suave was popping. You see what I'm saying? We sacked them 9 times. Like, it's not like that isn't the MO of a Brian Callahan offense, is to hold the ball looking for stuff to get open downfield, and they don't prioritize the run game. That's why, like, Kubiak gonna run the ball. You know, like, Ben Johnson is known as the offensive mind, but he run the ball. You know, McDaniels, Vrabel, run the ball. Sean Payton, Broncos, drafted R.J. Harvey, run the ball. It's something about all the teams, you know, like the Bears got they brought in Swift and then drafted Monungai. Like the Jaguars, ETN, Basil Tootin, and they had Tank Bigsby and traded him to the Eagles. Like the Jaguars got better. They ran the ball. Like every team that's flipped it around last year to this year, you know, what was the difference between the Commanders and Jaden Daniels getting beat up so much? Austin Eckler blew out his leg to start the season, and they traded Brian Robinson. McCoskey Merritt is good, but you got a rookie in pass pro all game. You're going to get him killed. You know what I'm saying? Like the run game got to be there. You got to be able to run the ball and stop the run, and then everything else grows off that. Steelers could look at Malik. I mean, are they going to go bridge again, or the Steelers going to finally, like, ever since the Ben Roethlisberger era, I know they did with Kenny Pickett, but they wasn't patient. Are they going to develop, scout, and draft a QB and build a
Let me
QB?
teach you how to vibe.
Like, they've been playing musical chairs since Ben Roethlisberger left. 30-6, Wall. Said Malik is a top QB. You think Malik is a higher, gonna be a higher sought after option than Mac Jones? Because you gotta remember, Daniel Jones tore an Achilles and broke his leg. He's out the picture. He would have been a free agent. Mac Jones is a free agent. Malik Willis will be out there. Somebody could trade for Will Levis, depending on what the Cowboys do with Joe Milton. You know, don't know what they're gonna do. Nobody's taking Geno Smith. Kyler Murray will be on the market. Kirk Cousins will probably be on the market, depending on how bad of an injury and recovery it is for Michael Penix, because Michael Penix has never played a full season ever. You know, so like Russell Wilson is still gonna be on the market. Jameis Winston could be somebody. Like it's a lot of different options out there. I don't think Malik Willis is the number one option. I just don't. Titans might that's the only way that I can see them getting Jeremiah Love. I don't see, like, if you stick and pick at 4, it's gotta be edge. If you trade back, best player available, I would take Jeremiah Love before I would pull the trigger at 4 on Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson. And they might turn out to be some dogs, but you know, it's just my opinion. I just don't think the Titans are in a position to pick anything other than edge at 4. If they trade back and they got multiple picks and Jeremiah Love was there and his best player available, I wouldn't be mad at it, but definitely not picking him at 4. Mason Rudolph gonna start for the season. There's no chance. There's no chance that if Mike Tomlin is the head coach next year or a new coach come in, that Mason Rudolph is going to be option 1 in Pittsburgh. There's just no chance. Like, if you got beat 30-6 with Aaron Rodgers, there's no chance in hell that this general manager, this front office, and Mike Tomlin and the team can believe in starting next season with Mason Rudolph. Will Howard would 1,000% be starting next year instead of Mason Rudolph. There's no chance in hell. It said him and Mac Jones. You think more teams would want Malik Willis than Mac Jones? And I love Malik, bro. I'm just I'm just telling you how this is about to go. If I'm a team and I look on the board and there's some teams that could get Kirk Cousins, that could get Kyler Murray, it's gonna be a lot of options out there. I think Malik Willis would be a good option if you're going to draft a quarterback. Like, let's say I brought Malik Willis in and I drafted, but there's also Malik Willis with Matt LaFleur calling plays and running the offense for him. Some of these coaches ain't capable of getting nothing out like that out of Malik Willis. So all y'all Packer fans that's been mad in my comments, Matt LaFleur is a good coach. I'm sorry. I could get Matt LaFleur one of y'all and he probably figure out how to make an offense work. He said, I thought the Bills didn't prioritize the run well enough either. Up until this year, Josh Allen was their run game. That's why they look so dangerous, because James Cook lead the league in rushing. James Cook is a dog. Y'all remember back on my draft board, I cried that night when the Bills took James Cook. James Cook was definitely on my draft board. I wanted Cuz bad on the Titans. I wanted James Cook bad. If everybody remember my old draft board from that year, almost damn near every mock draft, I took James Cook. All right, drop them crystal balls in the chat for y'all that missed the my mock draft and my free agent breakdown. I'll run it back for y'all. Let me see some crystal balls. If you don't have a supporter button, you should be watching on Kick. That way you can use it. If you're watching on Twitch, Amazon Prime, you can use it on the channel free once a month. You get access to that. If not, man, hopefully you got an iPhone. You ain't got a trap phone. You could just drop the emoji. That works too. But if you're watching on Kick, you don't even got to be a sub, just a follower, and you can use any of the 50 emotes. We actually got two different crystal ball stickers. All right, boom. Let me give y'all this sauce. All right. I stick and pick. Now, if some kind of way that Arvell Reese and Ruben Bain is not here at 4, the Titans, I think, trade back. But if Ruben Bain is there at 4, Tennessee
Let me
Titans,
teach you how to vibe.
Ruben Bain at 4, you bring back Sebastian Joseph Day for cheap. You got Ruben Bain, Tavondre Sweat, Jeff Simmons. I go out because he didn't have the greatest year. Preseason, this dude was going to get $20-some million a year. Now he's affordable for the Tennessee Titans. Kayvon Thibodeau, Truman Jones, and Jalen Harrell on the contract next year. Femi comes back healthy. That gives you a nasty rotation. When T-Sweat comes off the field on third down and you put Bain inside with Jeffrey Simmons, Thibodeau, and Femi, you know what I'm saying? Arden Key gone. Draymond Jones traded to the Ravens. I would bring back Jahad Ward as a guy on my 53. I thought he was very productive this past season. All right, well, my second pick, nobody can convince me that Carnell Tate and Jordan Tyson singularly would be better than my next two picks, Chris Brazel and Zachariah Branch. I put them into my mix. Brazel, Branch, DK, Aomana, Restrepo. Take your pick. Do you want to bring back Van Jefferson or Bryce Oliver as the 6th wide receiver that'll play special teams and is fully capable of catching footballs if they had to be inserted into the game, unlike the rest of the Tennessee Titans depth chart?
Let me teach you how to vibe.
Reason why I say that is Daubs and Alec Pierce are the two receivers in free agency, and with so many playoff teams having $80-90 million in cap space as well, I just don't see spending $20+ million on Daubs. He's never had a 1,000-yard season. Alec Pierce is a guy that on 40 catches, he had a 1,000-yard season. But I just don't see giving him $25 million bad team tax. I'd rather just grow young like the Panthers. Tetroa McMillan, Coker, Xavier Leggett, Jimmy Horn, Jatavian Sanders. Like, I'd rather just go young offensively like that. Boom. All right, Keontae Scott, defensive back out of Miami. Really liked him. There's some other guys I like too, but I just don't see any of those guys falling to around that the pick that where you would get them. Darrell Baker Jr., of all the 5,000 people they played at cornerback, I think he was the most solid. I would have him down here in a depth role. And I don't think Tariq Woolen or Alontae Taylor is coming to Nashville. I don't think Jalen Watson, some of the top corners in free agency, I don't think they choose to come be part of a rebuild. But with so many different corners on the Bears and so many corners that still are under contract in Chicago, a guy that stepped up this year and was really good is Nashawn Wright. I wouldn't mind having a guy like him coming in where you're not breaking the bank. The Titans can't afford to pay the bad team tax and give another $80 million to a cornerback that's got injury histories or coming off of injury or fighting an alleged drive-by shooting or anything like that. I think this gives them a chance to move Marcus Harris back into the slot where if they motion and he had to play outside, Marcus Harris would be more than comfortable. This would increase the overall 53 because right now we got a bunch of guys who they selling in special teams playing corner. In reality, we need guys who their floor is special teams and they could actually get out there and play. Now, if Baker Jr. was like my 4th or 5th corner, I would feel way better about than him being the number one option at cornerback that we had this season. Carter Smith, offensive tackle, Indiana, would be playing behind Dan Moore. Corey Levin would come back to be my spell center. I would let Jackson Slater ended the year playing right guard. Zietler is for sure gone. Oli Udoh and Crenshaw Dixon would be my swing tackles. Drew Moss is still under contract next year at right guard. And then you still have Hands and Dellinger. We would basically be guards that you could put the best one on practice squad, but this would give you a left tackle in the future to try and groom with Crenshaw Dixon behind your guys to give you some depth. They started with 11 offensive linemen on the 53 last year. I think the line gelled down the stretch when they actually decided to run the football and JC was healthy. I think that and Lloyd came back healthy. I think they was pretty solid down the stretch when they, because you know you're getting Cam Ward killed because you drop him back 40-50 times with injuries and rotating Ojukwu and Udoh playing musical chairs. Zietler got $9 million. He did not play well last year. So I think if you spent the 5th round pick on Jackson Slater, go ahead and get him some burn at right guard rather than burning more capital or thinking that you can get Wyatt Teller to spend the end of his career in Tennessee for a boatload of cash. All right, next pick, defense, Jacob Rodriguez. You got Dorian Mausi right there. That would give you Cody Barton, Cedric Gray, James Williams, and Jacob Rodriguez at linebacker right there. That gives you some more depth. Marlon Klein, tight end out of Michigan. I don't see Kyle Pitts or Isaiah Likely taking $15 million to come here and play tight end 1 when they just drafted Gunnar Helm and they like him so much. Even though I love the twin tight end deals, give me Marlon Klein right here. There'll be tight end 2, David Martin Robinson, tight end 3. 6'6", 250, you know, big physical, you know, guy that can get up and down the field. Because I just don't, I don't see Pitts or Likely getting paid that much to come here, you know, and then Chig Okonkwo is going to be estimated to make over $10 million. I don't see this new regime giving Chig $10 million to play tight end 2. All right, next pick, Dalen Everett, cornerback out of Georgia. You know, they would give you some more depth. I really like him. I think he's a ball hawk. There's no shot that a cornerback plays 17 weeks. At some point, you're going to have to push guys in. So if you're telling me that Baker Jr. and Dalen Everett was the first 2 off the bench, I feel much more confident in the depth at defensive back. Xavier out of Iowa, dude is a tall safety, very fast, good in coverage, flies up to the ball and hit. I did have this change because I was looking at other safeties, and when Bray Hubbard and a few other people went back to school in the portal, you know, it kind of pushed it around. But in the late rounds, finding a tall safety, because Xavier Woods got 1 more year at $4 million. Obviously, Kevin Winston Jr. and Hook is starting next year, but you got to start drafting and develop some guys. You don't want to go. They put 3 safeties on IR after the 49er game and then you signed 3 guys, and then you played the Saints, and they all looked lost the next week. Raleek Brown was the late round running back. Singleton out of Penn State, Henry out of UTSA was all 3 on my board. But by the time we got down here, Kyle Monunga, Isaiah Pacheco, Tony Pollard is going to be due $9 million next year with $2 million guaranteed. Tajay is on his last year of his rookie deal. Julius Chestnut, great guy, but it's time. And Khalil Mullins, he was a good short yardage back last year when he finally got healthy and got on the field, picked up several first downs. But Jamari Taylor, super productive running back out of Virginia, would be a good guy to put into this spot, that if you got halfway to next season, or you came in a training camp and you thought you could get some value for trading Pollard on the last year of his deal when it's nothing for you to eat contractually, and Tajay being on the end of his rope of his rookie deal, he give you a chance to start building running backs for the future, to throw some depth out there, because they ran Tony Pollard in the dirt these last few years. But overall, that's my draft class. I didn't do a bunch of trading because it's never realistic when you get to just doing too many trades. So I try to just stick and pick through like the first 100 picks before I do anything. But this gives you a lot of money to extend Big Jeff, and then to extend Pete Early, who is our best offensive lineman. Gives you some guys for the future, some young guys that could grow with Cam Ward. I brought Marcus Mariota in as quarterback too. He's usually been getting between like $5 and $8 million. Did a really good job helping Jaden Daniels, a good team guy. If ever there was a guy to come back to Nashville, that would be the type of guy that I would bring back. But overall, you have CJ Ravenel and James Lynch right here, unless you get some undrafted free agents that can work their way into that rotation. But overall, I like what we was able to do. We improved the 53 tremendously, and then you add in a decent coach, and you'll still have a bunch of money, because free agent cap space, you don't have to just spend it. You can still continue to roll it. So if teams weren't able to come to deals or terms, or was to let people go, then you might be able to snag up more depth around here. But I just don't think that free agents, we will be people's first destination, and then it would have a lot to do with who they bring in as head coach in the next stage of the Tennessee Titans moves. But overall, that was that's my free agent period in the draft breakdown, because the Titans can't do what they did last time with Rand Carthon, which was, I got some money, I'm just gonna buy a bunch of expensive players and hope that Lloyd Cushenberry getting $55 million to play center is gonna fix the line. We're gonna throw $76 million at L'Jarius Sneed and hope it fix the defensive backs. Him and Chidobe Awuzie, 3 years, $36 million. Like, they just went and was just, they can't do that this time around. This time around, you got to get supplemental players. You got to keep your draft capital. You got to draft well and develop well, and grow this team young. Interview Arthur Smith. Now, I think they're gonna interview Arthur Smith anyways, but I would not want Arthur Smith as the head coach. I see you high on Brazo. He reminds me of Justin Hunter. I'm scared of those Vols wideouts. I see where you would go with that. To me, like him leading the SEC, I watched his tape. He's a twitchy dude. Also, I've been on record on my mocks that second pick at receiver is Denzel Boston, is Jeremy Bernard, is Chris Brazel. Chris Bell would have been up there, but he got hurt. So he's the guy that, you would be in the Kevin Winston Jr. situation with him if you draft him. Jacoby Lane, Concepcion, like those are the guys that's going to be around there at that second. But we also got to see Nick Harbor be 6'5" and run a 4.2 40 at the combine with his shirt off. Pause. You know, like those type of things gonna happen. So me, by just looking at the guys, and if y'all watch him, the best person to break down wide receivers right now is Steve Smith. Go watch Steve Smith's breakdown on the top 10 wide receivers come out in the draft, and Steve Smith break down his tape. I feel confident saying that Steve Smith's breakdown of Chris Brazil's tape is he's not like the other Vols wide receivers that's out there. What coaches have they already interviewed? I had to go to my Twitter. I think I retweeted it. But they still got to have 2 more minority coaches in person interview before they can hire. So like before the picture even start to become clear, it's going to get up until like Wednesday or Thursday or next week. I think with the right head coach, bad team tax get eliminated. But then again, if it don't, like you can't just be contingent on saying the guy coming because of the coach. Like Jacob Rodriguez. The reason why I got it, like he was down, I think he was like pick 140 something. And when you get down there and you could take a guy that was, one thing that Berganzi has been big on in his draft is guys that was captains on the teams they played on. And obviously he's a captain, and he would play behind Barton, and he have a chance to try to grow into that role of, if you gave him half of a season to learn, I mean, I think he could do everything Cody Barton could do. And Cody Barton has a big contract. So I'll be more of like wanting to draft people behind and develop depth and then grow it like that. What if the head coach that comes in wants to keep Will Levis? I don't see that as an option. I think, yeah, I've been watching his Instagram. Like as soon as Will Levis is like he's healthy now. Like as soon as he start throwing and you know some people get a good look at him, he gonna get traded, bro. This mock no trades. I didn't do a lot of trades. KD in the building. What's good, my boy? Didn't see Smith say Cooper Kupp is his wide receiver 1 in 17. If you go look at him, he talk about like how they hips sync, like when they play certain players, like do they give up? Like he even broke down some receivers and like, yo, this guy, I can tell by the way he come out of his break what route he running every time, like stuff like that. Like the stuff that you thought that he was gonna break down on Chris Brazil was not like home run balls. It was like he was running curl routes and stuff like that. He's like he moved like a smaller guy for somebody as tall and as fast as he is. He'll talk about the people that catch with their hands and catch with their body. Like Steve Smith break down on receivers. Like you remember what he said about Jerry Jeudy? Like Jerry Jeudy was mad, but it's like Steve Smith was right about Jerry Jeudy. I think he just do an amazing job breaking down tape on receivers on what they can and can't do. Like, cause like the dude who his co-host will be like, do you think he's a 1 or 2 or 3? Like he just recently did one this week. If you're a Titan fan, go check out Steve Smith's breakdown on Alec Aomana. Like it was hard but fair. You know, he's like talking about the things that Aomana is good at. He's like, you know, the same issues he had in Stanford that set him back is the same issues he's having now. He just gotta have consistency at the catch point of just dropping passes that he shouldn't drop. Because to be realistic, me being a Titan fan, Alec Aomana is Nick Westbrook Akene. People won't want to make that attachment, but it's the same person. You know, it's the 6'2", 6'3", big physical guy, gonna block, gonna have some catches at the catch point, not gonna wow you and blow you away with speed. You know, not a bad route runner for his size, but realistically, Alec is not gonna be wide receiver 1. You know, like AO is probably gonna be wide receiver, you know, 3 or 4. You know, DK has emerged higher than Ellick. So that's why my draft, that's why I set my offense up the way I did. The way I showed it is like Chris Brazza would be the guy I'm drafting to turn into my number one. I would rather develop him as my one, because I think he has that George Pickens, T. Higgins type of gameplay in him. And then I would have drafted Zachariah Branch as the guy that's gonna come in motion. He gonna run my screens. He gonna run those underneath shot plays, like, because DK being special teams, just give a chance where like DK run the kickback and you come out with Chris Brazza, Zachariah Branch, and Ayo with Gunnar Helm at tight end. Then the next play, you rotating out, DK coming back out there, and you running 2 tight end set. Like, just different things like that is what I would be more trying to do. And then you're gonna have some banged up people at times. You're gonna be rotating guys in, and then Restrepo would be my 5th guy. Brazza is tough, man. I think that would be a good pickup because he's the 2nd round. It's not a 1st round pick. You see what I'm saying? Like, you getting 2 for 1 instead of taking Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson or Makai Lemon. You getting Brazza and Branch for waiting and going that direction. Like, that's the way I wanna attack that. Because the thing about taking Jeremiah Love in the 1st, then whoever you get in that 2nd round, I just don't think it's going to be an edge in that 2nd round that's going to equate to getting RVL Reese and Ruben Bain. And if you can't pull a Kayvon Thibodeau, a Boy Mafe, a Adafio Way, a Jalen Phillips in the free agency, imagine you're not able to do this too, and you don't get Bain or Reese. You're going to have a hard time getting to the quarterback next year. And you just hoping that TJ Parker or Dennis Sutton or Zion Young or somebody you pick up wind up turning into just that guy. But that's why I like sticking and picking with edge, going wide receiver 2nd, and then when you get into those other picks, I like trying to snatch up Zachariah Branch. I like trying to get some of these big time corners that they got some speed and aggression to them. You didn't break the bank getting Deshaun Wright to come over to play corner, but if you get Tariq Woolen to Nashville, you got to pay him $20 million a year plus, and then you still gonna have to eat money to get rid of Snead. You still gonna have to eat money to get rid of Calvin Ridley. You're gonna eat $10 million to get rid of Ridley, and then turn around and get Alec Pierce $25 million. Like, I just ain't sold on going that route. So the way I did it gives you 4 deep at running back. It gives you a veteran QB that can actually teach Cam something. It gives you Gunnar Helm, Marlon Klein, DMR. You got 3 tight ends, increased blocking. You lose some speed and athleticism with Chig, but hopefully you'll have wide receivers that can actually get open and catch the football. Then on defense, Thibodeau, Femi, Bain, Simmons, T-Sweat, up front, Cody Barton and Cedric Gray coming back with Rodriguez and James Williams. Like, it just give you more depth this way. Only place I see maybe you could, because you got Ravenel and James Lynch, like, at maybe trying to increase some interior lineman depth overall. But to me, I feel like this was a really good mock. I got young talent in places that get a chance to develop. Even if you had Darrell Baker starting with Marcus Harris and Deshaun Wright to start the season, and Keontae Scott and Dalen Everett rolled their way into that role, this to give you where you ain't expecting Ruben Bain to just go game wreck the pros. Like, you keep them fresh, you got a good rotation. If first down, you got Jeffrey Simmons, T Sweat, you know, Ruben Bain and Femi out there, and then you get the third down and T Sweat come off, and then you throw Thibodeau in the mix. Like you get to do a lot. Because odds is all these guys is gonna miss some games, but you just want to have the depth to be able to see past it. But that's my little mock and free agency breakdown. You don't want Jacoby Lane from USC? I would take him, but I'm saying like Jacoby Lane would be further down because like Chris Brazel and Zachariah Brandt's gonna do more after the catch than Jacoby. But Jacoby could turn out to be a Drake London or somebody. I like him. If this was Jacoby, and Zachariah Brandt, I wouldn't be mad. But also, like if you miss on those guys, late round guys, I like Henry from UTSA at running back. I like Malachi Fields from Notre Dame at wide receiver. It's some tight ends, Joe Royer, Lawson Lucky Norfleet from Missouri, Coleman at Missouri wide receiver, Barry and Brown. It's a couple of even if you missed on it's a couple guys that's gonna be around in those rounds that I like. That if these guys ain't there, like I'd be perfectly fine with having. Oh, for sure, stat. Yeah, but I do like Jacoby Lane. Boy, that's a 2-hour shop talk. This shop talk will be up on YouTube. Make sure y'all following on my YouTube. Make sure y'all like, comment, and tap in. If you got any questions, drop it in the comments of the YouTube videos. I'll make a whole video on y'all questions if y'all want for the mailbag. I definitely appreciate y'all tapping in for this Monday night football shop talk.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
He said, with how your free agency and mock draft looks, do you see you winning more than 3 games? Just asking. I know we can't look at winning games now, but just look forward to you. I think the winning games depends on who the coach is. Like, think about it. Coming into the season, if I tell you the Chiefs, the Commanders, the Ravens, the Lions, if I tell you all of them would not make the playoffs and it wouldn't be close, you couldn't have guessed it. Then last year, the Jaguars had a top 5 pick in the draft. The Patriots had a top 5 pick in the draft. The Bears was a top 10, hovering around the top 10 in the draft. Like all the teams that was down there, the Jaguars was a 3-win team. All these teams turning around, but all those teams I mentioned, Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel, Liam Cohen, McDonald on the Seahawks. These is all new coaches that came in and flipped things around. And also, teams got to be healthy too. So it's a lot that go into winning games. Like the Titans had the worst. The Titans had the hardest strength of schedule of all the teams that was in the bottom of the. Like you started the season off with Denver on the road, the Rams, the Colts when they was hot, and the Texans. That's your first 4 games. With a rookie quarterback, with a coach that got demoted during that time frame. He said, time for some rage. All right, listen, y'all know what time it is, man. 60-second reset. If y'all want to stay in the shop, I'll be back in like, I got to go put my kids in the bed real quick. Y'all know how it is. Facebook and YouTube, it's been real. Make sure y'all tap 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, the Shop Talk breakdown, while I chop it up and compress it and put it out in a long form YouTube video. And then shorts at 8 a.m. Be on the lookout for that. But if y'all want to hang out late night, you got to be watching on Kick and Twitch. Preferably Kick, no ads. You can use up to 50 emotes and stickers for free. picture in picture. You can still use your phone and watch. We can listen to music. We can watch the highlights. And probably that's the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reset. I'm going to start the highlights from this wild card game. So like in 60 seconds, it'll come right back on Kick and Twitch, and then we'll just hang out late night, shop, talk. God first in the chat. Y'all some real ones, man. We out.